What is the difference between code switching and code mixing? After watching this video, you will know how multilingual children become open-minded and creative. Coming up next. Hi there, Andrea here, teacher specialized in languages. On this channel, I share with you tips and tricks and useful material to raise multilingual kids. So if you're new here, consider subscribing to this channel and signing up to my mailing list for more free content. Code switching means the practice of alternating between two or more languages or varieties of language in a conversation, often within the same sentence. This is very common in bilingual and multilingual people. There are plenty of reasons why people code switch. Speakers may switch from one code to another to show solidarity with a social group, to distinguish themselves from a group, or to participate in specific social encounters and fit in, to convey a message faster or with more precision, to express certain feelings and affections, or even to impress or persuade an audience. In my case, I want to be a role model for my children and students. That is why I try to stick as much as possible to one language when I am talking. But sometimes when I am talking to my husband or other friends and family, I code switch anyway because it allows me to convey a message faster or more precisely. For example, when we are bathing our kids, I've caught my husband and me saying, "Kannst du mir bitte ein Towel bringen?" We speak in Swiss German, but before our kids were born, we used to speak in English together. So, "Kannst du mir bitte bringen" means something like, "Can you please bring me?" And then we use the word towel instead of durch. I'm sure that if we waited one more second, the right word would pop up in our minds. But sometimes we just don't have the time. It just happens so fast and it feels very natural to us. But as I said, we try hard to minimize code switching as much as possible because we want to be good role models and want our multilingual children to get used to speaking in one language at a time. Remember that kids learn and imitate their parents. To us, it is important that they can communicate fluently in one language and learn to separate them so that people that don't speak the languages that they do can understand them. Now, what is code mixing? I learned from Tetsu that code mixing is what young kids do when they are learning several languages simultaneously at a young age. It's basically mixing languages unconsciously. My son Nils is 1.5 years old and he throws at us all kinds of words and short sentences in Spanish, Danish, Swiss German, and German. And he doesn't know that he is using different languages. This phenomenon makes lots of parents insecure about raising their kids multilingual. As I said in the beginning, people still believe that multilingual children are confused, which is completely wrong. The only thing they need is more quality exposure to each language, and then they'll automatically learn to separate the languages. My daughter is 4. When she mixes languages, she does it consciously. So she code switches. For example, last time I asked her, ¿Dónde está tu hermano? Where is your brother? And she answered, "Está gumpando afuera." He's jumping outside. But if you know a bit of Spanish, you know that gumpando is not a Spanish word. What is she saying then? A person that is not so much into this topic will probably say the child is confused. It doesn't know what it is saying. But if you take yourself a little time to analyze what the child tried to say, you'll notice that the contrary is the case. Let's dig deeper. Let's dig deeper. Laia took the Swiss German word Gumpe, which means jump, and put an ando at the end. She realized that gerunds, that means verbs that become nouns in Spanish and in ando, like corriendo, bailando, jugando, comiendo, and so on. In other words, her young brain spotted a grammatical regularity. What she didn't know in that moment is the word jump in Spanish, so she borrowed it from another language and transformed it in such a way that it would sound like Spanish. Gumpando. She actually meant saltando. That is fantastic. That is multilingualism at its best. It's a proof that multilingual kids use all their brain power and develop sharp minds. Pretty much the contrary of being confused. This was also an example of how brains of multilingual children train to become creative and flexible and open-minded. Do you have other code mixing or code switching examples? Please share them in the comment section. What is important to know is that code mixing languages unconsciously, is a natural sign of a children's multilingual development that doesn't confuse or harm them in any way. They will grow out of that. Once they start code switching or mixing languages consciously, it could be a sign of proficiency. Check out this video if you want to know when code switching is a good sign and when it is not. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. This was Multilingual Family. Keep on doing a great job and talk to you soon.